Before we dive into today's NFL mock draft, first filmed live on Chat Sports and posted over there too, how many round one trades do you think end up happening this year? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Now, coming up, I have another 2025 NFL mock draft. This one, though, because I wanted to have fun here and get wild with it, has a bunch of trades, especially in the back half of round one. Let's get into it. No trade at number one. Cam Ward, the pick to the Tennessee Titans. This one pretty much feels set in stone at this point. Number two, Travis Hunter, the athlete out of Colorado, to the Browns. A lot of buzz on this one. A lot of buzz on Abdul Carter going number 3 to the Giants. It's also mid-April. Sometimes that buzz is not reliable, so we'll see how it all plays out. If it plays out this way, I think the Patriots take Will Campbell at 4. I think that one feels they need a left tackle. He's got the mindset Mike Vrabel loves. The arm length and the wingspan in particular are very valid concerns, though. Mason Graham goes to Jacksonville at 5. Trent Baalke can now take some Michigan player, or now that Baalke's gone, Jacksonville can take some Michigan players. Ashton Jeanty goes 6. This is fairly chalky so far, if I'm being honest. Jeanty to 6 to the Raiders, pair with Geno Smith, like that fit with what Pete Carroll will do. Armand Membu at 7. Plug him in at right tackle, pair him with Olu Fashanu long term. Building out the offensive line makes a ton of sense for the Jets. I think Jalen Walker, the edge linebacker hybrid, is a really good fit in Carolina. They can kind of do some Frankie Luvo stuff with him. I think that is a logical landing spot for Walker. So it's chalky to the first 8. Let's get weird with it. What if the Saints go crazy? Because before the Derrick Henry, they've been buzzed like, oh, yeah, they like Jaxson Dart. And of late, I'm not sure how much I buy it, but we'll do it for today for the funness of it. Hey, this Jaxson Dart could go before Shedeur Sanders. Todd McShay's mentioned that. I don't get that, frankly. I think that's kind of a weird path. But the Saints are a bit of a wild card at 9 this year. Now, they're the betting favorites for Shedeur Sanders. Wouldn't be a shock if he went 9 or even earlier. Who goes first? I guess Dart at 9 is your Michael Penix moment in this year's draft, right? JD for Jaxson Dart, SS for Shedeur Sanders. It is the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, let me know in the comments, JD or SS. A little bit more chalky here. Tyler Warren to the Bears. Ben Johnson to do a bunch of 2 tight end personnel set. The wild card was a Marion Hampton, by the way, but I didn't go that. I couldn't do back-to-back wild card picks in a row. Mike Green, 11 to the 49ers, giving them an actual secondary pass rusher beyond Bosa. Tedero McMillan out of Arizona to the Dallas Cowboys at 12. With the Jalen Ramsey stuff, Jahdae Barron out of Texas at 13 to the Miami Dolphins. I wonder if Barron actually ends up going before Will Johnson, since there's still going to be valid questions about Johnson's speed since he did not run a 40, and that was the concern going in. Indy then takes Colston Loveland, number 14, out of Indianapolis. Tight end to really kind of solidify that spot that they had bad production at last year. And then we have our first trade, and it is a doozy. How about the Bills stay all in, and they give up multiple assets, a second and a fourth, to jump all the way up to 30, and it is almost not enough for the Bills to move up, but we'll treat it as a lighter trade down scenario. Falcons, who are light on draft picks, get extra ones. The Bills at 15 jump up and take Will Johnson out of Michigan. I think they'd only do it for a premium player, and I think Will Johnson, for some teams, is going to be that premium type of player. I think that'd be a really fun addition for Buffalo overall, and I think would help them take that next step forward to try to get over the hump in the AFC. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. They make getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. With killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. Tickets on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. You can get last-minute deals up to 60% off those last tickets, not just for sports like NBA, but baseball, football once that season kind of comes back around, but also concerts, comedy, theater, everything else in between. by using the Game Time app. That lowest price guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section or section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So what are you waiting for? Go download the Game Time app today, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Terms do apply. Again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, all guaranteed. Cardinals at 16. Let's give them another pass rusher to help kind of round out that room. Micah Williams, I think, actually fits really well with what the Eagles, or the former Eagles DC Jonathan Gannon likes to do up front. I think he goes somewhere in this range, in that like 11 to 18ish, 25 or 23 the latest range. Makes a lot of sense there. Bengals take Jihad Campbell, the linebacker out of Iowa. I think the 17 to 20 range just makes a lot of sense for Jihad Campbell as a fit. Gray Zabel was not my preferred interior offense lineman. That's actually Tyler Booker, who I didn't have going in this round one mock draft. He fell. But his play style was kind of the move offensive lineman in that zone blocking scheme. Fits a lot better for Seattle. Tampa would have taken Jihad Campbell at 19. He's off the board. Instead, they trade down. They get a 2, a 3, and a future 4 in what might be a buyer's market this year in the NFL draft for the Giants to come all the way back up into round 1 and take Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback out of Colorado, at 19 overall. Some Giants fans would love it. Some of them would hate it. The real question for me is, I think at this point, the over-under at quarterbacks in round 1 is probably 3.5 now. With Shedeur and Cam Ward and probably Jaxson Dart. I refuse to buy Tyler Shuck, Jalen Milroe hype. Over or under 3.5 QBs in round 1. O for over, U for under. I almost had Denver trade down here, but Marion Hampton's there, so they'll just stick and pick and add a damn good back to help out Sean Payton's offense. I love the fit of Derek Harmon out of Oregon for Pittsburgh. He could also he could be a surprise top 12 pick this year. That wouldn't be actually a shocker to me. I think it might be for some, but I think he could go super early. Love the Matthew Golden fit there for the Chargers. If there was a team that I thought could move up to 20 and 21, I would have had them jump the Chargers for Golden, but I just didn't find the right fit in the end. Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M, that is a Packers pick. Through and through, that man is a Green Bay Packer type of player. I think that's a really good scheme, personnel, draft archetype fit for Green Bay. Vikings at 24. I mean, they want to trade down. They are so light on draft capital. And they have made in-draft trades with their division rival before. A third-round pick works out really good trade value-wise. Lions come up, and they're thinking ahead here. They're thinking long-term left tackle with Kelvin Banks out of Texas. Not a very commonly mock draft pick that I have seen. Taylor Decker is getting up there in age. He was a 2016 first-round pick. I don't know how much longer he's going to play for this particular team. He only is going to turn 31, but at some point they're going to start making some financial decisions up front along that offensive line. You could plug him in at left guard or right guard short-term too, with Graham Gaskell getting up there at age, but I think long-term left tackle option there for the Detroit Lions. Kenneth Grant, I am a fan of. Not everyone is, understandably so. Texans don't have a true disruptive nose tackle. I think Kenneth Grant could be that guy. I'm a fan of that fit. Maxwell Harrison, I actually could see one happening for real on draft night too. I think there's good value there. Back-to-back safeties here. Nick Emenwari out of South Carolina to the Ravens, giving them really fun chess piece in the back end. And the Vikings take Malachi Starks, a safety out of Minnesota. Hopefully better than the last hit that they took out of Minnesota in round 1 after trading down with the Lions. Hopefully that, I didn't mean to make that traumatizing for some, but I think he actually is a good fit long-term with what that defense probably wants to do with Brian Flores in the big picture. Another trade, pick 29. This one does get expensive, but it's a pretty big jump there for the Patriots to go up from 38 to 29, giving up pick 106, which is kind of far down the order, and 144, kind of a later-ish fifth-round pick. Actually, mid-fifth-round pick, I should say. Patriots jump up because they are trying to find some help at one particular spot here, which we'll get to here in just a second. But first, today's show, remember to subscribe. We have free NFL draft coverage for you guys all off season long. We will have updates on all the picks, reaction to all of it. We have you covered. Every single pick will be covered here on Chat Sports, and of course the trades that happen too. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. All right, I've got the Patriots then moving up for Emeka Egbuka. And my mindset here was they want to jump the Titans, jump the Raiders, go get a receiver. Patriots walk out of that draft early on with Emeka Egbuka to help out receiver and Will Campbell. That's a pretty good haul there for New England. So the Falcons now at third after their trade down. Donovan Ezeraku at number 30, who I think does go in round one. Maybe could go earlier than some people even expect. I am a fan of his game. Gives me some Harold Landry vibes, college notwithstanding either. Chiefs at 31, they trade down. The 49ers, flush with extra draft picks, send the last third and the last fourth, 100, 137, and pick 43 to jump up into round one and get their left tackle of the future. And maybe short-term right tackle, too, in Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle out of Ohio State. Injury is a question mark there for Simmons, but the Niners, I think he's a great fit for what they want to do up front, and they need to invest in those trenches. Eagles stand pat at 32, take Walter Nolan, a boom or bust player who, given the way Philadelphia tends to maximize the sliders in round one, probably ends up being a good player for them. So the teams without a round one pick, I think Carson Schwarzenegger has an outside chance of sneaking into round one. It'd be a surprise, but I think he does go top 50. Tampa I think there's a pretty big drop-off, by the way. Pure off-ball linebackers after Schwarzenegger, it gets kind of thin, so they take the top one left there. James Pierce, who's got character stuff to answer for, but hasn't scared off Dan Quinn in the past with the Cowboys, and even Seattle, going back to some of those teams. James Pierce as an athletic edge rusher off the end, fits what they're searching for. The Chiefs, I think they need another defensive tackle. Tyreek Williams as a run stopper is fantastic. I don't love their run stopping group. I think there is athletic potential to be even better than that, not just a plugger in the NFL. So grade this mock draft: A, B, C, D, or F. It was unique. It was wild. It was crazy. So I get if you want to go like C for crazy, that's fine too. Get those votes in for me in the comments section of today's show.